And welcome back, and it is the 15th of March, 5 a day for the further maths, and let's just jump straight to the first question. Okay, actually we start with a fairly simple one today, don't we? So it's just expanding triple brackets, or sometimes just called triple brackets. This is just about being clear and not making silly errors. So I'm going to do these two brackets first. So x times x is x squared, 7 plus 3 is 10, so 10x, and 7 times 3 is 21, and I'm multiplying all of that by x plus 4. Then I'm going to move over to here. Now, if you see me do these things before, I keep them in columns based on their power. So I'm going to multiply everything by x first, which is going to give me x cubed plus 10x squared, and multiplying by the left bracket, plus 21x. Then multiply everything by the 4, which is going to give me 4x squared. So you notice I'll write it underneath the x squared so I can add them up. Plus 4 times 10, which is 40x, plus 4 times 21, which is 84. And then I'm going to add all these things together to give my final answer of x cubed. Do this carefully, this is quite easy to make a silly mistake here. Plus 14x squared plus 61x plus 84. And that is first question done. Not too bad to start and get going. Next question. Right, what do we have? So shown as a quadratic, the coordinates are, so it gives me the coordinates of A, so this is minus 4. Don't know what B is. The maximum point is minus 1.4, 2.6. So it tells me what that one is up there. And then it says right down the, oh, this is a clever question. Okay, a really clever way of avoiding this question. This is relying on you knowing that these parabola are symmetrical. So in other words, the distance to get from, let's call this point M because it's in the middle. The difference to get from A to M is, well, M is minus 1.4, and the difference from, let's write it down, so minus 4 to minus 1.4 means I add 2.6. So I'm going to add 2.6 to get from M to B. So M is minus 1.4 plus 2.6 is going to give me 1.2. What does the question want? Write down the coordinates. So it needs to be a coordinate. So therefore my answer to B, let's write B. B is equal to 1.20. Good question that. I like the way that question's worded. Next question, same sort of question. The equation f of x equals k has exactly one solution. Write down the value of k. Again, I mean, this is almost A-level-y type question in the sense it's showing understanding of the graph. So let's imagine I have a line here and I can move it up and down. So I can move the whole line up and down. Where is the point at which it only touches the red curve once? And it's going to be this point here, which thankfully I know. I know that point has x value minus 1.4 and it has y value 2.6. So therefore the value of my k is going to be equal to 2.6. In other words, this is the line y equals 2.6 and it touches the red curve. Next question. Okay, so what do we have? So y equals a function given to 2y. So this is a reasonably straightforward can you work backwards question. Now, as ever, I say this in all my videos, it's obviously differentiation. So if you just do the differentiation, you'll get some marks. Obviously, you should be aiming for all marks, but it'll give you something. So if I differentiate 3a to the x cubed, that's going to give me not 3 to the x, that's going to give me 3a to the x squared. If I differentiate minus 4x, that is minus 8 to the power of x. If I differentiate again, well, just as an aside, I wrote down y dash. Let's write it down how you've probably seen it more, so dy dx. If I differentiate it again, that's going to be d2y dx squared, which is going to be 6ax minus 8. And then what does it tell me? It tells me when x equals minus a third, d is equal to minus 20. So therefore 6a times minus a third minus 8 is equal to minus 20. I've got, what we're going to do, add 8 to both sides, gives me minus 12 and divide by 6. So that's going to give me minus a third a is equal to minus 12 divided by 6, which is going to be minus 2, which means that a times both sides by minus 3, which means that a is going to be equal to 6. Good sort of little understanding question. I like that question. Next and final question today. Solve. So again, today's been a pretty straightforward day of just checking you understand various techniques, isn't it? So solve 9 sine theta equals minus 6. In other words, sine theta equals minus 2/3. Now you will know the way I solve these is I draw the graph, because I've draw the graph there of sine x. I can then see very roughly my two values are going to be here and they're going to be here. So I'm going to have a problem. So if I get my calculator out, which I'm going to do right now, and I say sine minus 1 of 2/3, that's going to tell me, I'm going to do my answers to one decimal place. So that's going to tell me that theta is equal to, and it says minus 41.8. And of course, that's the value down here. So I need to add, well, there's a couple of ways of thinking about this. So I can add 360 to get that one, but the better way of thinking about it is knowing that's going to be, what's the number, 41.8 this way, and it's going to be 41.8 this way. So in other words, the values I need are going to be 180 plus 41.8, and it's going to be 360 minus 41.8, which are going to give me the values of 221.8 and 318.2. And those are my final answers. And that is today done. Really good sort of, I don't want to say easy, but straightforward, but checking you understand type questions today. So definitely worth going through, definitely worth redoing. And do let me know how you've done. As ever, do like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks all.